Hola,
Bom dia.
and welcome to our continuing adventure, what it's like to live here in Portugal. I'm Ross.
And I'm Kathleen.
Thank you for tuning in to our YouTube channel. If you're a regular subscriber, thank you for your support. If you're brand new to our channel, please like, share, and definitely subscribe. We decided that it was a good time to do a post about NHR, non-habitual residence tax regime, because there's a lot of discussion about it right now. Is it going to stay in place? Are there going to be different things that will allow people that are in the process to get the NHR during next year? So we've been getting a lot of questions about what's going on.
So I just want to say something about my observation, which I think Ross might share too. It's not about really the taxes and the tax laws that I'm observing. It's about the perception that it's scary and upsetting, and for many people, it really throws a problem into the plan.
Yeah, we had a lot of challenges or things that were changing when we were applying for our D7 back in 21. The biggest thing was that it changed from only having to have a lease for maybe 3 months to having a lease for an entire year. And you're trying to set this up, or we were trying to set this up from the US without ever having been to Portugal or to Porto. So it was definitely a challenge, but we did get through that.
Yes, and we were actually very fortunate because we could mail in our materials for our visa, our D7 visa, to Washington, D.C. And now they've changed that where people have to go in person. And so, wow.
So there's always, we talk about adventure and life being adventure, and what adventure are you on today? In an adventure, there's always going to be surprises, and that's part of the adventure. It's like, hey, we woke up today and there's something new, a new challenge to take on and figure out. I just want to say, with the NHR, we don't take that lightly. We know it's a big issue when you're talking about your taxes. We all you want to pay our fair share, and definitely here in Portugal, we paid taxes this year for the first time, and we just feel that the taxes we pay, we get a lot out of that benefit us personally. But the NHR regime right now, like I said, is put on hold, and that's thanks to our recent prime minister who stepped down for various reasons, and it kind of tabled that whole issue. So a point of reference would be that Spain went through a similar situation. They had like an NHR tax regime that they got rid of, and after a while they brought it back because it wasn't working out the way they thought it would. So there's always new possibilities as to how things are going to work out.
So I just want to say, when you go on an adventure, if you're looking at moving here as an adventure, meaning quality of life and affordability and making new friends and exploring the new culture and food and wine and the great history, all of those things to us are adventure. If you're interested in that, expect that there are going to be issues that come up, changes. It can't all stay the same. Things don't stay the same. And if you just feel like, well, Ross and I feel like it's not always fun when something like that happens, but we have learned, we've been on the planet long enough to have learned that we can probably figure out what to do and how to deal with the change. And it's like, oh, what do we do now? Oh, okay, plan B. I think if you know you have the mental capacity and the resources, the internal fortitude to deal, you're going to surprise yourself, and it might be more fun in the long term because you went through a crazy challenge.
And a lot of it, or I think, in my opinion, the most of it has to do with your thought process. Perfect example. We walked the Camino Francés back in 2012, which seems like a long time ago. And
was.
that's 500 miles, 800 kilometers, starting in France across Spain to Santiago de Compostela, which is north of here. And when Kathleen told me we were going to do this, I was enthused. I wanted to do it as well.
I wanted to do it like,
yeah,
let's do it now.
I was thinking in a year or two, and she says, no, this
Yeah.
year. Kathleen, well, set it up with us not having any accommodations reserved. And that's generally, I think, how most of the people that go on this walk, they're called pilgrims, it's a pilgrimage, set it up to where you don't know where you're going to sleep each night. And that can be really unnerving. There were a few nights when we had to walk a little bit further to find a place to sleep, but we always had a bed each night. And what was interesting was what happened, I don't know, about halfway through. We had something that we realized that was going on with our thought process. You want to explain that?
Yeah, it was that it was getting into the colder months and wintry, feeling cold, and some of the albergues, some of the pilgrim hostels were closing down for the season. Not all, but some. Some of them, maybe they didn't feel like they'd fill them and it wasn't cost effective for them or whatever. We don't know. But because of that, many of the pilgrims that were walking with us in this one time, especially this one time, were caught up in, oh my God, there's not going to be a place to stay. Did you make a reservation? And there was this energy of panic around while we're walking.
We even found ourselves walking faster.
Well, yeah. And what I realized is that was like throwing the gifts of the Camino out the window of walking and peacefully, having introspection, talking to people about other things than that,
right?
Panicking things, enjoying nature, and just looking around at the history of the Camino, being on Roman roads, being on places where pilgrims have walked for thousands of years, not even paying attention to that for many, many hours because you're panicked that you're not going to have an albergue to stay in if you don't get on the phone and make a reservation. And if you don't speak Spanish, you're really in trouble. It's like it got very, very awkward and uncomfortable, and we were feeling it big time.
So what happens then is all of a sudden that's what your brain is focused on, your thought process, and your thoughts control what's happening. It creates your reality, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden we're seeing ourselves thinking, oh my God, there's not going to be any place to stay. And so guess what you start seeing? You start seeing places that are closed. You start meeting more people that said, oh, I couldn't find a place to sleep last night, or there's not going to be any place to sleep. So what happened, and I'm not sure if this was a conscious decision, but this is what happened. We ended up staying an extra day in one of the hill towns, and when we started out again on the Camino, we weren't with this collection, this group of people, and there wasn't all this talk about there's not going to be any place to stay.
It was amazing,
and it was a relief, and we realized we said, we got rid of that consciousness of there's no place to sleep. We never ever did not have a place to sleep each night, which I think we already said. And there were some places that they weren't even filled.
Well, there was a thought that I had. We didn't get to try it out. I thought, what happens if we don't have a place to sleep? What would happen? Well, for thousands of years, there were no albergues. There were maybe churches or maybe people's homes or bars, taverns, where maybe you could stay. Maybe you'd have to sleep outside with your coat around you. That doesn't sound like a lot of fun to me, but we did have sleeping bags. We had very warm down bags and a pillow. And I thought if I had to, I could probably do it one night. And I thought, would I be okay? And I thought, probably. It doesn't sound very exciting, but it was like, we could still figure it out. And you know what? There's other options too, but I didn't even explore that. I mean, we could have called for a ride somewhere because there, to take us to a hotel.
Right. And actually, last night on the Camino, Kathleen said, we haven't walked to watch the sunset till it got dark, and we hadn't. So that last night we walked and walked until it was dark, and then we found this wonderful hotel that we stayed in. We treated ourselves.
Yeah.
It was so the main thing is, again, about what you're thinking, and like around the NHR issue, allow yourself. Our suggestion is to allow yourself just to see this as another opportunity to look at things differently, and to ask, is moving to Portugal really the thing I want to do? Are you looking for a better quality of life? Are you looking at a place where people really live as a community and take care of one another? Are you looking for a place that has wonderful health care? Two systems. They have a private and the national that work hand in hand. Are you looking for a place that's one of the safest countries to live in the world? If those are all the boxes you're checking off and the things that you want, is it a place that you want to live where you don't have to own a vehicle? If those are for you, then this NHR thing is just a little bump in the road. So look at what your priorities are, and then keep your eye focused on the prize.
And it's all going to work out. So if you change your mind and you decide it's not for you, then it probably isn't for you. And you're saving yourself a lot of hassle.
Yeah.
But for us, we were determined, and it's like, it's no turning back. We love it. We're thrilled. And we know there'll be more road bumps. There will be, because every day, because we don't speak fluent Portuguese, there's stuff to learn every single day, and things are done differently here. And just that, it's unpredictable. Yeah. Many things are unpredictable.
So just keep reminding yourself about, what adventure am I on today?
Yeah, really, there it is.
Or this is the adventure that I'm on. And again, this is just a hiccup. There's some links in the description below connected to the NHR situation at the moment. I hope those are useful. And there's a couple other links down there about moving to Portugal, some of the first steps you need to take, or if you're coming to Porto for a visit, there's an excellent experiencing Porto document there, which we are always updating with some of our favorite restaurants and new restaurants.
We're always finding new stuff to share.
Yeah. So keep watching, keep enjoying. Please subscribe, like, and share. Much appreciated. And as always,
what adventure are you on today?